Slars right now in this tournament.
It's a Snapfire first pick as well. Different.
Slars are as well super high win rate at the moment. Enchantress kind of goes in the same way. Nyx, Batrider also. Nyx, just a beast of a hero, and Oracle ban is probably the most interesting one for me from Team Secret.
We have not yet seen Team Secret play Snapfire this tournament.
It's already covered by Nyx Assassin, and this Treant pick, you probably know, right?
Yeah,
Zayas 3, yeah.
Or Treant, he does so much. Even though they swap it sometimes to position 5 if needed, and solo plays it. We did not see too much out of Treant Protector. Still, this hero can't do much, especially if you have like heroes who can play aggressive on the other lanes and have this global presence from the living armor.
Like what happened actually to Treant? He was borderline broken,
I think
if not
one
broken.
of the problems was this Enchantress, who is extremely popular. So with the Dispel, this is the ability that removes the living armor. It's great against Darkseer, removes Ion Shell and Surge. Pure damage.
Yeah, there's many heroes she's great, yeah. Nyx Assassin also that's banned out from Secret is a cover ban for Snapfire, not only for Snapfire, because there's many heroes that Nyx counters, but that Carapace just destroys Mortimer's Kiss. They went with the Treant and Lash Rack. Now, this gives you some cover for that Lash. You have the living armor, you have the ultimate to work with as well. What's pretty good about Overgrowth plus heroes such as Lash is that it forces defensive items. If you can force out that BKB early in the fight with your position 5, then that Lash Rack can juke out the first, let's say, 7-8 seconds of the fight and then join later to dish out that desired damage.
I love the approach from Virtus.pro. I said they don't pick versatile heroes. Now they pick Treant Protector, who can be played at 4 or 5. Lash Rack 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. He can be played at pretty much every single role. So they're not revealing anything.
But we are expecting this Treant to be played by Zayas.
Yeah.
If you're thinking about 3, you're thinking about that player. Almost
First thing
all the
that comes to my mind.
But they can play it on 5 more.
They can. Better yet, so far, I mean, they did play it twice so far this tournament, both times against Nigma, and the time that they won with it, it was 5, and when they lost, it was actually Zayas playing it as a 4. I am surprised to see Chen ignored on the side of Secret.
Yeah, Puppy completely ignoring that.
I'm assuming it is going to be Snapfire on the 5, though. I mean, that is so far the best position for her.
I think so too. I have seen a couple of games with position 4 Snapfire, but it just feels like one of those heroes that does the same 5 or 4, so better put it on 5. That
you want to give farm priority to someone else for sure, instead of a Snapfire.
The only
also, this Lash, I think, blocks the Meepo pick, which always works well for Team Secret. The AoE damage.
Listen, they picked Meepo into Elder Titan and into Timber, so I don't think they're super afraid of a Lash. Not too much, at least. But it is definitely a good AoE hero versus him. Let's go. The next ban. They ban out Rubik, and now Rubik is an interesting ban because the hero is definitely strong on paper. The laning stage is great. Later on in the game, he's also good. He can steal so many spells, so many stuns. Doesn't have the highest win rate so far in the tournament, I believe.
No, and I'm well, somewhat surprised. Normally, Rubik is played as the position 4, and we've just been talking about how we expect /1 Treant to be the position 4. So maybe a little bit more revealing there from Secret of what they want to pick. Like, what would you pick if you like? Why would you ban Rubik if you're gonna like? Wow.
They might go back.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, they might go back to one strat from Nigma's book, and that's pick Io with the Tiny and just play it extremely fast with no cooldowns.
There's also a possibility to go for something like an Enigma, right? Yapzor Enigma isn't really that weird. You also have combo with the Snapfire. You banned out Rubik, so you don't have that hero that can steal the black hole.
Oh, the classic CIS Disruptor. Even when this hero was like extremely bad in terms of the skills that he had, Virtus.pro was still picking it. Like, it was pretty much only solo playing that hero.
And well, you're saying solo playing the hero. What would you rather have? A position 4 Disruptor or a position 4 Treant? Like, which one do you want
They're so similar, though. That's the thing. They're so similar in what they do on position 4 and 5. You don't really like either one of these heroes on position 4 that much. I think they're best at position 5. Basically, if you're Disruptor on 4, you go for that quick Yules. You have some setup as well. Then you can go for quicker Aghanim's. If you're Treant, you can go for that Meteor Hammer earlier or Blink Dagger. But it's both of these heroes aren't exceptionally well on that position 4. So they can decide at the end of the draft which one suits them better.
It will be a Mars for Secret. Have we seen them play Mars?
I don't think
Recently.
Did we?
No, I don't think
Someone
so.
played Mars, but I'm not sure who. And they pick Naga Siren. Here's the combo. Oh man, this is such a deadly combo that they have on top of Treant Protector. So even if you like have a BKB, they can pop the Treant ulti after it. So already looking good for Virtus.pro.
A lot of big ultis, and if you're Secret right now in these last 2 picks, you have to be thinking about heroes that either counter them with their big ultis or just play super fast. You need some heroes that... All right.
Okay.
All right.
Nisha Medusa.
That's not playing super fast. That's going for the late game to counter that Naga. They also have a combo of their own. You have the Mortimer's Kiss plus the Arena, which is pretty neat.
Also to keep people inside of arena while Medusa's either using ulti or just attacking you. And with the built-in cleave, she deals well with the Naga Siren illusions. Mystic Snake is going to be super effective. Even though you are still playing against Naga Siren, who builds into Diffusal Blade, which is one of the best ways to deal against Medusa, just get rid of her mana.
It's not often that we see Secret save the pick for Matumaman as last. Do you guys feel that that is the case here in terms of who's playing what?
I think so. I think, like, a long time ago when I remember Nisha playing in Kinguin, even he was spamming that Medusa constantly.
That's his hero.
Just carrying them with it. So I think it is, and it should be his Medusa. And we'll see Matumbaman probably something a little bit more active.
Monkey King is still in the pool.
Yeah, it's still there.
All right, let's see what VP thinks and see what they are going to ban out. That will be also a little bit more telling of where they are in their headspace right now. And what do they need for their last pick? It looks like they will need their no one hero. And they do get overall last pick, important to note. So they can already start preparing to either secure whatever they want to pick, or just wait until they actually know 100% who's playing what, so that they can just counterpick it.
I still feel like it's a good Shadowfin game for Virtus.pro. They have a lot of lockdown to set things up. He can fight even without ulti, but it's such a deadly combo. They ban out Kanka.
They ban out Kanka, and so they're expecting Medusa to go on a silent instead, it seems like. Which is
I mean, that option
curious.
is still there.
Yeah. It's peculiar though, you'd rather have that Medusa mid so that she can stack those camps, farm them at the same time, the small medium camp plus the lane, do that constantly, get a couple of raid bans, your network just skyrockets and you can join the fights earlier. That's pretty much how Medusa is played right now. But, right?
Still, Virtus.pro has an option to switch last track to mid if needed.
So
And it can be played at top lane.
If you're Secret right now, you're worried. You can't pick something that's bad versus Lash, and you also have to think about their overall last pick.
I think it's going to be Medusa mid still, and Secret just banned out TA, so they think it's going to be a mid hero.
Yeah, I mean, TA is one of those heroes that definitely does do very well against Medusa. That's why they ban it. They go with the Bristle. All right, a different approach. Another tanky beast up front that's not gonna die in this big combo. They don't have a lot of save, but they're all very, very tanky.
Yeah, these heroes are so hard to kill. Bristleback, Medusa, once you get an item or two with the mana shield on. Mars also not that easy to take down.
I mean, this is 4 strength heroes and 1 Agi, right? The only Agi being Medusa that's already tanky by nature with the mana pool. That being said, Naga Siren probably will get a diffusal, so it's crazy to think that Medusa at some point might be the most squishy hero on the map.
One thing that we can expect perhaps from Team Secret is a BKB on this Tiny. I can already see that being the only way to deal with the Disruptor Aghanims later on in the game if it comes to that. You can use that BKB on Tiny, move in, toss the target away from the Storm.
Talk to me about Viper. You got the break, but you will probably lane against Medusa. How does that matchup go?
It's good. It's very good for Viper. Early on, Medusa can't really do much. You can actually push her out of the lane. You have a built-in break for Medusa, for Bristleback as well. So even Mars, like, it's a good Viper game. Also, the vision game from Virtus.pro is going to be extremely good, so glimpses will be effective. Naga illusions, scouting things out. You have Treant Protector, especially when he hits level 10. In terms of drafting, I'd say these are pretty even.
I like the Viper pick. The only problem that I can see with it is his supports don't rotate really well. Treant, it's difficult for him to approach Medusa from behind. The same can't be said for Tiny. It's super simple for Tiny to just roll in and toss the Viper onto the Medusa, and then all the advantage that you gained disappears.
All right, let's find out how tanky Team Secret can get here, or if Virtus.pro is able to take a game off of them in the first game of this upper bracket finals. It's over to Cap and Kyle.
Virtus.pro have been on a tear in this tournament, but they're going to meet the best team in the world right now. Team Secret is going to be putting Virtus.pro to the test. Kyle, do you think that Virtus.pro can stand to this test?
That remains to be seen. They certainly have something. They're the team to prove it, right?
Yeah.
I think draft-wise, it certainly measures up, but I really like what Secret have. Just if you look at the concept that VP is going for, Disruptor as a hero just does nothing when the enemy cores are running at you, and that's going to be the issue here with Medusa and Bristleback able to frontline.
Yep, that is something that you've just got kind of a wall. Like, it never feels good glimpsing back at Medusa when she moves like, you know, maybe 500 distance or something like that, and then she's just like, okay, now what? Maybe she pops Stone Gaze. Then you definitely have to walk away from that. Yeah, I could definitely see how Secret's kind of slow roll is going to be hard for Virtus.pro. But VP, with their last pick of the Viper, did grab something that was a much like an earlier base timing hero that dismantles a lot of these passive abilities that they have, and may actually make some of these heroes squishy enough, fearful enough that the Disruptor is impactful.
My concern, rather, is just how these supports will scale in this game. The thing about Dusa and why it's so strong here is that you also are excellent against the Treant because you're a natural Manta buyer. In games where it's necessary, you can also go for a BKB. You don't really have anything. The supports won't be able to do anything to him. And even Viper, let's say the lane is just even. Like, there really isn't an answer to the Dusa. So you've got to be able to take map control. You need to kill these tier 1 towers and then get lanes going push. I will say I love Disruptor with heroes like Viper and Naga because you're going to be able to shove lanes aggressively, Naga illusions everywhere. You'll be able to find kills with those glimpses. As like the panel was talking about, these two supports provide a ton of vision. And if you're in a position to make plays, that is excellent. If you're not, well, it just feels bad for pretty much everyone involved.
Now, by picking up the by picking up the Viper, it does mean they're going to be running a 3-position Leshrac. Obviously, Resolution is very familiar with this hero and such, but do you think this is actually good to have this 3 Lesh?
I think in this scenario, you're going to be just fine because you have a Disruptor up there. You're just both going to spam spells. It's not as if either. I mean, what is a core Bristle really going to do to pressure you too hard, right?
Sure.
And if there was a team that I'm happy seeing this more semi-core, I would prefer Rezo on 3s that shade towards 2 rather than the typical Zai, as an example, where he's more shaded towards a 4. It's a lot easier to play as an offlaner. Remember when Sumail swapped over and he was consistently just playing, even Quaps out in the offlane? Like, he can play the same game he's used to, but from just starting in a different location. So,
like how they were drafting Lycan and Centaur initially for Ramses, right? Another good example of just kind of keeping a core player in their comfort zone. And, I really like watching Resolution play, but watching his offlane of the current iteration has not been great. Actually, his last run in offlane was not great either. So it's definitely seems to be still a learning process for both him and the team. That's a bit of the problem, right? It's not just one person that you could say that is underperforming at times. VP as a whole, with their previous roster and Epileptic Kid and Save were not looking great either.
I have faith. I think they've definitely looked a lot better at this event than they have in the previous ones. They made it to the major. They're on the up. And that's going to be important for these guys, just building confidence moving forward. And this is what I mean by top lane, right? Puppy and top man are just going to get spammed out. Both of these heroes can just buy sticks, and then Matumbaman's just feeding more damage into his enemy's coffers. And as you can already see, no one playing very aggressive up on the hill. This is what you want to do is the Viper versus Dusa on that first level. And oh, wow, as I say that, Rezo is in so much trouble.
Yeah, Resolution got a little aggressive earlier and, you know, put himself to be able to go get the range creep. And I think Matumbaman took full advantage of that, getting a bunch of quill stacks.
I don't think they expected the Tiny to come out of the trees either. YapzOr with a really timely movement there. Did he start there or teleport up? I didn't have my eye on the minimap. And as you can see,
I think he started bottom, but...
Well, this is really cool. Yeah, if you are wondering what the lanes were, yes, Tiny did start bottom because his icon was down there with Zai. Safe to assume.
So YapzOr just with a tricky little maneuver, just kind of showing bottom lane, TPing up top, getting them the initial first blood, because they know this lane is going to be hard. This is something that I feel like the Nigmas and Secrets of the world do differently than the other teams, is that they quickly identify how to be able to set up a laning phase configuration, figure out what the problems are, or, you know, I think Nigma last series was a really good show of identifying win conditions and shutting them down.
Yeah, that's a good point. And, you know, later he'll probably have to move back towards bottom. For now, Zai's going to be just fine because it's Naga Tree. You know, level 3, level 4, it could perhaps be a threat, but for now, no big deal. Nisha, nice DD rune pickup. He'll just TP back to the mid tower. I don't think... you know, you might be tempted to like trade hits there, thinking, I've got a DD, I'll beat him, but I don't think he's going to win that one.
Yeah, with the Viper stacking up his Q, and then on top of that, no one could just play the high ground and have that advantage as well. Better for him to just TP in. Looks like our Naga Siren is having a free lane, though, against the Mars. Not too surprising, seeing as half the damage that comes out from a Mars is physical damage with the God's Rebuke. And a heavy, heavy, high armor hero like Naga Siren isn't going to care too much about that. Oh, look at that group up. Looks like a toss over into an Avalanche is going to be able to secure the kill on a Resolution, and YapzOr with his boots first build is able to get in front of Zayats, kill the Courier, block in Zayats enough that Puppey should be enough. No, actually the Living Armor plus the Fairy Fire and everything else will actually let Zayats live.
Yeah, but you get the Courier, you can see a little smirk on YapzOr's face. He's like, yeah, I guess I'll take that. Really nice movement as always from the... one of the more solid 4 players in the world, to be honest, especially when you consider how aggressive YapzOr plays, how effectively all of his heroes are playmakers. He just seems to be in the right place at the right time at all times, as Zai will be pressured. But as you can see, they're not really threatening kills. And yeah, his CS isn't great, but I mean, 9-2 is 10-2. Like, this isn't bad. He's keeping up with his Medusa, so.
Yeah, I think when good showing of... YapzOr set a trap here for Zayats, managed to find him all by himself in the triangle area, and does have a full combination. He's just trying to get as much damage in before he goes for it. The Living Armor, though,
I like
YapzOr
that
knows
choice.
is out of range.
Yeah, you're not killing him. There's no reason to waste the spells, because instead he just runs top, and perhaps you can threaten Resolution. And that is going to be YapzOr's plan, it appears. Full wand already up on Rezo, as you can see. But this is why they're putting 3 heroes here. Because in a 2-on-2, you're going to just trade mana, and inevitably VP will win the exchange. But with 3, you can actually threaten kills, which is what's necessary to take this lane. Nisha recognizing, I don't want to be up against this Viper. I'll just go farm my camps. Maybe YapzOr even stacked those on his way up. I didn't actually see who got those off. But I like this because Viper can't actually kill YapzOr in the mid lane, so we'll be able to soak up some nice free XP. Just trying to get as much out of the map as possible on this dire side.
That's something special, right? Not only is it Nisha Medusa, which is his special, but on top of that, it's a dire side Medusa.
Yeah.
There's an inherent advantage for a Medusa, especially on dire side, right?
Oh, for sure, because early game you can take both of these camps simultaneously, and then later on you can just go farm your Ancients and the hard cap simultaneously. Radiant, there's a lot more travel time involved.
Yeah, nobody wants to be in the Radiant Ancient area part of the map. There's nothing else there.
Exactly.
It's a dead zone. Well, 5-minute bounties about to spawn, and you can see just the feel of the laning phase. Secret have a bit better control of the top half of the map. That's why they're able to get both the bounties there. Zai is able to snag one of these bottom lane. God's Rebuke pushing back solo, but no one is able to keep the Poison Sting on him. And 2 stacks. It's going to take him out.
Oh,
that'll be his death.
That last tick got him. Just 10 damage overkill. Top lane, Matumbaman with that early point in Q. Good to see it. A lot of bristles I've seen skip their Q completely until like level 8, which is not the play. You want to be getting up those stacks of your ultimate even when you're chasing for kills at just level 6. And it's very effective against these low armor int heroes too. Plus you get the chasing power.
Yeah, they've been several iterations of buff happened to the viscous nasal goo until it got to a point where it's actually even just value to pick it up level 1 sometimes for an early first blood.
Well, it used to be the same mana as your quills, whereas now it's just 12 at level 1. It's super value. It's almost 1 minus armor a tick. This Snapfire hero as well. I'm surprised we haven't seen this picked up more often, especially in the first 2. Just seems like as far as 5 positions go, you've got 4 abilities that all do insane damage. You've got a ton of utility. Nisha, though, in some trouble.
Yeah, he thought he was going to be able to pick up a haste rune. Instead, Zayats denies it and not actually going for, well, he's trying to get close enough for the glimpse now. Might be able to do so thanks to Solo, who slowed down Nisha with the brambles. But the glimpse back is not quite good enough. A TP away from Nisha will allow him to survive.
Really nice play from Yapsor there. That little bit of time bought from the toss and the extra auto that Viper wasted, that's going to be the difference maker there.
Top 2 CS for both the Naga Siren as well as the Vipers. So even if that top lane has been really rough for Resolution, and it is a problem, right? Because it's a Leshrac. That's not a hero that you look at as a 2 or a 1. You want to secure his farm a lot of times. You said Resolution, you know, you like trending him more towards a 2, but they didn't secure his lane like they would a 2.
No, definitely not. But there really wasn't a way to do so. You can't leave your Naga bottom against Mars because that's just a matchup that you're not going to have any fun with whatsoever.
And Treant's not a tri-lane hero as well, right?
Not in my opinion, but at the same time, it has worked in the past, but especially going this non-leech seed build, which I prefer because then Solo's able to help out his offlane from bottom. And at the end of the day, if someone's going to win the game for you on VP, it will be this Naga. So guarantee this right here, top CS, top net worth.
Yeah. And the biggest hero that's going to create all the space for your win condition is going to be this guy right here. No one in the mid lane trying to chase down Yapsor thanks to a small rotation from Solo as well as Zayats. Man, Virtus.pro. This is, I think it was Gambit doing this as well, rotating the 2 supports around constantly and just having 2 or 3 strong solo laners. It looks like with the Mars Arena going out there, they're going to try and get the kill onto no one. They will be able to do so. Pinning him against the wall, Zai picks up the last hit.
And this, to me, is the issue that VP are going to run into, which is trying to take team fights around objectives in this mid-game portion. You're playing against 2 heroes, Bristle and Dusa. They're just going to camp on top of towers. And if the arena goes down, there's no counterplay. There's no way you're going to be able to get in there and save whoever's caught inside. And then you look later into the game, 30, 40 minutes plus. Let's think about Naga versus Dusa in the late game. At a point, Dusa either eats or picks up an Ags from Roshan, and then the Snake straight up insta-kills illusions. How are you going to kill the hero?
With that kind of issue, with that in mind, and seeing as what we saw, like hindsight being 20/20, but it really feels like they didn't need to go for that tiny kill, right? They could have just pressured that mid tower. It's already quite low. They probably would have finished it off. Now that objective is still out there in the wind and can still be defended by this Medusa, who...
They want to be bringing Rezo to these engagements, but Lesh is of all heroes that are XP dependent. It is the Leshrac that I think of as like numero uno. And if you check out his net worth, right, his levels, he's just now hitting 6. He doesn't want to move from his lane until he is 6 because his damage output just isn't there. He'd be the one that's securing tower earlier. You're going to get it anyway. Secret. They don't have the arena, so they're not going to really be able to defend this, but perhaps they can set up for the deny. But yep, there's Rezo. He's hit 6. He's ready to get first.
Yeah, that's good enough. All right, well, it took a lot of heroes, 4 heroes mid, but they do manage to get that early mid tower. That's an advantage for them being able to invade into these jungles. I'm not sure if they'll be able to stop that Medusa from farming up the triangle with the Ancients, but it is something that they're going to have to figure out eventually here. As the 10-minute mark approaches, outposts and bounties. You can see Zayats right now is trying to sneak in an outpost here in the top lane. He's going to be backed up by no one who's going to join him. Puppey goes to intercept and may be able to stop the outpost from being taken, but it's going to be a team fight. Matumbaman pushes forward with his quills going out, but now he's going to be slowed and broken by no one as well. Try to finish him off. The arena comes out with his spear onto no one, but Matumbaman's still going to die, and no one should be fine. The shield wall will not finish him off. That's going to be a 1-for-2 exchange with the outpost not being taken.
God, it is near impossible to play Bristle against this Viper. You can see him just get ulted inside the Nether Toxin. That's removing his ability to engage with his ultimate. Plus, the reason Rezo survives there is because at least 2 procs of those back spines did not come out because you removed that with the break mechanic. So you can be a lot more aggressive against this Bristle early game, even though he's the top net worth on Secret. Really nice maneuver there from VP. Kuman still just farming it up, already 1,300 ahead of any enemy on Secret. So you got to feel happy for now, but this is a really cool game to watch because the story is going to be VP trying to get aggressive with this Manta defusal timing, maybe that next item on Naga when they really try to push their edge, and Secret just saying, hey, we'll take our time. We don't need catch necessarily. You're going to come to us and we know it.
Yeah. In Virtus.pro, they're going to get aggressive, presumably with the net worth advantage too, since they do have the Treant Protector protecting these towers like he's doing so. So with a tower advantage should lead into a net worth advantage, as you can see VP going up to this top lane. I want to point out another cool thing. Viper with a maxed out Q build. They have a good amount of magic damage on their lineup, right? This actually enables the Leshrac to do a lot more damage in team fights,
you can even understand better why Matu just melted up top, right?
Yeah.
With no bristleback and just a Leshrac on top of him. He's taking more than effectively pure damage from all of these spells, and that's definitely tough.
Well, that's one way to kill all the trees. Zai just drops the arena and will be able to find Solo, who's been a pesky nuisance, but they know they have to kill that tree to actually take this safe lane tower, because Secret knows what an imperative it is not to be too far behind in this tower trade-off game.
Yeah. Just so far so good though for VP. Look at the way they're playing this. Just split up around the map, taking control, and I especially like No One here going for that farming item first. I've seen a lot of times Vipers go for the utility of, say, a Force Staff or a Hood, but then you see this net worth position. You want to take this edge, get something that allows you to keep it, and then you can start going for utility and survivability. Otherwise, you're effectively all in on this idea. You're going to consistently win engagements and take fights. And if the game slows down like a Naga versus Dusa can, you just end up falling off the face of the earth, and you can't afford to do that as this primary damage dealer for your team.
He is very dead. He is definitely going to be pulled back into No One. Zai's going to try and hit him with the spear and TP out. That's a cool play because there's no stun left. That was very nicely done by him.
I like that he thought about spearing first, then realized his only hope was to spear post-glimpse. Immediately, he does just that, TP's out. Perfect play from Zai. Excellent way to keep his composure.
And a misplay from Zayats, right? Like, he had total vision. He planned that out. Like, you should have been able to have the wherewithal to read, okay, as long as I land the kinetic field, I just slow him down.
And I think he also has to probably drop ulti there, even without kinetic, just because, like, it's one of those things. It's a good play from Zai, but Zai did have the answer.
A flying Mars lands on top of Resolution. May have missed the God's Rebuke, but will not miss the spear. They're going to chain stun him pretty easily here.
Jeez, there's just too many stuns, right? We saw this in that last game from Nigma when they had the Shaker, Lesh, and Mars trialing. You know, if you could just get caught.
Three-man smoke up, but there was Nisha sitting on the high ground, immediately popped the Stone Gaze. No one wants to fight this still, and he's going to sit on the high ground, but now Snapfire, ultimate raining down in, but it looks like the Medusa is still going to die here, sits inside the Nether Toxin, traded out with the Viper, but the supports got on by both Matumba Man and Yapzor on the back line, so it ends up being a 1-for-3.
Wow. That felt a lot better for VP at the onset, but it looked like just the positioning was not there. They got cut off, and that's the power of the Dusa team fight, right? You don't necessarily need the Mars ultimate. And yeah, sure, Secret, they're not really the ones making plays, but it's VP that are continuing to try and play aggressive. And you can expect it just because of the way their draft comes together. You really want Rezo to be involved in these fights, but he's still just trying to get his own game going, and
his game's going to be stalled up if he dies here again. Doesn't hit the stun onto Matumba Man. Matumba Man's going to go for the dive here, but the living armor is going to protect him. Solo threatening the ultimate is going to pop it now. They have the TP coming in from Zayats to make sure they can keep these heroes in place. The Glimpse is ready to go. Matumba Man and Yapzor are trying to stick together here. Now the Glimpse pull back into the kinetic field, and no one's showing up. So finally they do have the damage to bring down that Bristleback, and may have caught Yapzor as well. And this is a really big kill because he was actually getting close to his Blink Dagger.
Yeah, and this new tree armor is so good against the Bristle. All of his damage, including the spines, is physical, and you just have +10 armor and a bunch of regen. It's the only reason Resolution's alive there, and it's more evident just this VP lineup has such great synergy together. The Disruptor with the Viper, Kinetic, Nether Toxin, that's just busted. Now you have a tree as well to protect your Leshrac, plus tons of lockdown for all this AoE magic to come through, and Naga to secure your late game. 2K ahead of Nisha, however, not out of this yet. In the mid to late game portion, from about now to 30 minutes, I think I'd heavily favor VP. But once Nisha gets rolling, you can see him with that Manta first. You don't traditionally see it that often, but against a tree, you kind of need to pick it up. And at a point, he'll have I'm telling you, Aghanims, you just kill the illusions. They all die. Doesn't matter if you have Heart, Scotty, and a butterfly. The illusions instantly die.
At what point do you think he's going to get that item? Because it is really value for this game. Do you pick it up like third?
I think you could pray for a Roche, really. But at the same time, it's one of those relationships that I feel like you gotta like just see what the players feel, simply because you know, the problem is if you go for something too early of an exit, it's then all of a sudden not the Naga you're worried about, but perhaps this Viper, who's also keeping pace with you in the net worth, plus all his magic damage. The lack of BKB could be punished severely. Yeah, an Aghanim Scepter would also lead you into a very low damage build for the Medusa, and that is obviously going to be a problem. You need some damage to threaten these heroes that are pushing against you, like this Viper. It's 7-9 right now, 16.5 minutes in. Virtus.pro do have a slight net worth lead, but it feels like they have more control of this game. As you can see, no one is running into this Bristleback here, committing for the kill, should be able to get it, but he's taking a lot of damage in return, especially from that Snapfire ultimate, now tossed up into a Stone Gaze as well. Resolution trapped out by the arena. That's 3 dead on the side of Virtus.pro. Once again, they had a larger net worth lead, but they keep on taking these very offensive fights against Secret. And Secret, in their defensive positions, are managing to trade out 1 for 3, time after time. Yeah, and from a spot where you'd expect them to be way more on the back foot, too, right? Yeah. Talking about how VP is playing this great game, they're the ones with the towers, they're the ones with the map control. And it's not just that, but Secret are also taking fights outside of their own jungle, which is very important. They're ensuring that waves stay on the enemy side of the map. You don't want to find yourself choked into your own side, as they look to be right now a bit. But VP, no Disruptor ult, probably not going to make something happen too soon. I like the rush of the Spirit Vessel on Zayak. Playing against a Bristleback, it's just a necessity. And it looks like second item BKB on Viper, and Medusa rushing the Butterfly. It's nice. But at the same time, I do really want to see an Aghanim Scepter, right, as well, because you've got a classic Naga Siren Disruptor combination. I'm just really worried I'm completely wrong about this, and the Stone Gaze no longer kills illusions, even though it's not in the patch notes or on the Dotapedia. But anyway, I mean, I think it's very likely that Nisha may not even go for it. So but we can just say you're right, and that Nisha should have gone it. But Butterfly makes a lot of sense in this spot, though, because it's one of those items that drastically increases your pace, your farming speed will increase, but your survivability also matches. You're against a Viper and a Naga. That miss chance is so huge. Neither one of these heroes is going to be able to buy an MKB for quite some time. Yeah. Solo rolling around. We're talking about like being able to make sure your lanes aren't always pushed in by the Naga Siren. Mars, one of the best heroes to do something like that, right? He just has a combination that instantly kills a creep wave. And this is a good time to go. You got level 2 Song active, Manta Diffusal on the Naga. Here we go. Going to be able to get off the Static Storm onto the Mars. See if they can finish him off, but YapzOr looks to be able to intercept the combination. They also have the Snapfire ultimate raining in. Kuman pops his ultimate, slowing down these heroes and hoping that the rest of his team gets out. He does that pretty nicely, stays on the high ground. Now they have to make sure they still don't get caught by the Blink Dagger from YapzOr. He was looking for it, but the high ground, it's dangerous to go up there with no vision. Kyle, as you always seem to say, nice blink away from YapzOr before the damage lands. And bad news for me, Cap, it does appear illusions now just get affected by the Stone Gaze and turn to stone without immediately dying. Thus, oh, nice cookie. Again. That is troublesome for no one. He's going to be saved by the Overgrowth, but a toss forward. Up-and-tumbling man, the Bristleback is right there in the front lines on top of everybody getting off these quills, but it looks like the Medusa ends up dying to the damage coming out from Resolution. It was too much for him to handle with the Spirit Vessel actually up. Matumba Man has to tread very carefully here. Kinetic Field blocking in Puppey. He goes the other direction, dodging the stun from Resolution, but he can't dodge the AoE damage from all of that magic. Now the Mars Arena going out. Managed to actually catch Rezo and Zayats perfectly. Should be able to chain them just enough. The Eul Scepter going off once again. Resolution was spared last time around. He got off the Eul Scepter. Can he do it again? It looks like he might be okay. Spear up, 1 second's time. God's Rebuke, if he's close enough, lands that. Now the Spear to finish him off, but he dodges it. Rezo sidesteps it. Look out though, a toss from YapzOr is going to be able to claim his life, but now YapzOr is committed so heavily here. Solo is looking to catch him. Never mind. Matumba Man looking to bail out YapzOr.
Matamba, it's supposed to be the other way around, my friend. Don't endanger yourself for a support.
This is one of those games where you hope Secret remember their WoW experience, because the whole game for now is just going to be don't stand in the green fire, both Dusa and Bristle. You saw once Nisha standing in it, he's attacking, but the split shot disappears. Like Bristleback, the Matumba Man's survivability is not there inside of it, and he just starts getting beaten down. It's very difficult to team fight on VP's terms, especially if you're clumped up as much as Secret was in that engagement. Still salvage, 15-12, just slightly over 1,000 gold lead for Secret. But anybody's game. Really nice juke there from Rezo. That would have been a nice kill for Zai. And it also helped them pick up Matu on the other end, stacking from Puppy on the Ancients to be expected with the Dusa. And there's the Meteor Hammer on Solo. Huge for the support tree. He's level 13 on Solo.
Yeah, he's a big boy, but that's what a lot of Train Protectors are able to do, right? Because they play on the side lane by themselves constantly. Their job is basically just constantly keep one lane pushed in and sometimes show up for an overgrowth.
Yeah, it's curious too. There was Greaves builds coming up for Rezo. I like this a lot. And you look at, I mean, Essence Ring. This is what it's all about. You look at his team. You really can't think about reliably killing this Naga Siren. You're going to have a BKB on the Viper. They're going to all in for this Lash. He's going to Essence. He's going to get armored from the tree. This is a very tough hero to take down. And Secret really don't have any better options unless they're able to find these supports.
Yeah, there are certain heroes where, like, I like to call it the HP to damage ratio.
Yeah.
It's just too juicy. You want to go for that hero every single time. And Leshrac, his HP is not great, and his damage output is immense. So that's why Rezo is trying to shore up that weakness, right?
And it's all from his spells, right? As long as he has mana to continue up utilizing his arsenal, it's just stay alive and stay in the fight. And here comes the Rosh Pit.
Trying to sneak into Roshan, but Secret is going to be able to catch him. They do manage to get a Mars Arena on top of the sleep, though. The Snapfire ultimate still raining in. Kuman is able to get out, though. Now they've got a perfect Static Storm on top of 3 different heroes, but they're just turning and fighting. The Stone Case managed to go off. The Resolution got stoned up by Nisha. Now inside the pit, they've already finished off the 3. They're going to go and catch Zions as well. Yaps are hot on his tail, ready to go with the Blink Dagger right now. And that is going to be a 4th hero down and probably a Roshan for Secret. Virtus.pro, this was a very even game, and they just threw it all out.
Well, you've got a Naga, right? Where's the illusion on the side of the pit? Did Zai just walked up and arena'd you?
Yep.
Like, that cannot happen. Oh, very, very unfortunate there. VP, you're in such a great spot, and then the song, as you said, canceled out by the arena. Snapfire taking everyone down to half HP. You can't even attack the enemies yet because they're still snoozing. Very, very unfortunate. VP all of a sudden go from in total control of the game to suddenly up against the ropes. BKB Bristle, no more Nether Toxin worries. And Nisha with an Aegis now can start to march down your lanes.
Is this the point, Kyle, where you, looking at the item progression, you think this game is now turned into Secret's favor and they're the ones who hold the control?
I would have to say so. You don't really have a method of really addressing Nisha at the moment. And by the time this Aegis fades, he'll have that Scotty complete. He'll be well on his way to a Butterfly. Chose to swap it up. I imagine just because of what we were talking about where, yeah, it's very nice against the 2 cores of VP, but what was really killing Nisha seemed to be the magical damage plus standing in a Nether Toxin. And this way he'll just increase that survivability.
Yeah, just statting up some more.
And Swads, I like that on Zai.
Particularly value.
Spread damage carry plus increased damage equals good math.
So what's the next step for Virtus.pro? They just have to wait out the Aegis? I mean, can you even wait out that much time, give up that much ground to a Medusa lineup?
I don't know if you can, Cap. It's going to be a tough road ahead, that is for sure. I like this idea in that they're going to try and play top and just split the map for now. But you got to be cautious. No one, you can see just such a slow hero, this Viper, 328 MS. It's very easy to get caught out of position if you lag just a little bit behind.
So you got Solo hitting the bottom lane, pushing that in, well, as much as he can with a Bristleback camped out there. They're pushing out top lane as well. They're just looking for anything to split Secret up, right? Because they can't just play totally passive.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I just saw Vampire Fangs on the Bristleback. That's sort of a bit of a, I don't know, a medium level 25 talent for the hero. And the spell lifesteal is so effective with those spines.
Well, Zai He separates from the rest of the crew a little bit, but he does manage to get off the arena and spears in the Leshrac. He's still going to die, though, to Resolution, but the arena holds in that Leshrac long enough that they're going to have to use the song to bail Rezo out. Now he's going to go for the TP.
Oh, no, he got stoned.
No.
You don't want to get stoned in the middle of a match, Rezo.
Yeah. That was not the right time to be green dreaming out there.
I mean, I could totally understand why Kuman also was like kind of walking away, because he's like, I can't stick around forever. Like, they have a fair amount of catch. Still, though, they traded 3 for 3, so not that big of a deal one way or the other. They now have the heart up for the Naga Sirens, so tankier illusions.
Yeah, the issue is just going to be, does a Naga really solo carry this game when you look at where his other 2 cores are in position on the net worth? And bear in mind, Secret's 3 cores, they're all so durable. They're just tanky AF, and I just don't know where the damage is going to come from. Side TP's bot, he'll clear that wave, get a tower deny as they also clear out the tier 2 mid. VP can shove top into the base, but not confident going tier 3 if Yapzor is off the map.
I would love to see somebody chipping away at that top tower, just anybody kind of showing, because Secret are just ignoring it right now and continuing to hit mid.
Yeah, but again, if they have no vision, right? If Yapzor's not showing, for all they know, he's just standing on the tower. If someone comes up, shows up, toss, stun back, TP in, that's a kill. Glimmer and a Philosopher's Stone on Puppey, a Craggy.
You know, it's funny you talked about the Viper being, well, it's just pretty much a Naga Siren trying to carry this game. You said no one was going for a farming build, and, they did get that damage build out for him where he was going to be able to accelerate, but then they just took too many bad fights in a row. That
It just comes down to the Roche, really.
Yeah.
It's all the Roche fight here, and part of that could be, when that occurred, no one had a Dragon Lance after the Maelstrom and about 2,000 gold. If that's a BKB, perhaps things change, who knows, but at the end of the day, you got walked at and initiated on while inside the Roche pit with an illusion core and heroes that should be providing vision. It just happens. C'est la vie. Zayak, we've seen this a lot. You got a disruptor on your team. The Ags is queued up. This combo is incredibly devastating, and it's still certainly a win condition for VP. You can never count out a team with this combo.
Oh, it's interesting. They got Spider Legs on the side of VP. Against the Mars, you can't walk out of the arena if you're inside of it, but you can walk into it from the other side. You'll get bumped in by the pushback, but a small little interesting thing to note. Aghanim Scepter is the build-up for Zayats. I feel like they have to focus on his farm from here on out, because that is the next big power spike.
Yeah, I want to see him get the Philosopher's Stone. I think still being held by Solo, but he's got a Meteor Hammer, and when you look at the net worth, I don't want to see my tree ahead of my Disruptor in this kind of game.
No, he's got the Arcane Ring up. Zayats, maybe they just don't have a Philosopher's Stone on the side of VP. Is that possible? No, it's there. Guys, like, Zayats' farm is so important. Well, Spider Legs got him alive, so.
Yeah, but I would agree. I like the utility of the Spider Legs, but I just think Ag's first priority by a large margin. And there's a pipe picked up by Puppey after that Glimmer Cape. He is a very farmed 5 position. And looks like they're just going to keep marching down.
Puppey was taking your advice, which is he was holding onto the Philosopher's Stone for quite some time. And as a result, he's got a healthy amount of utility items to help with this push. And eventually we're going to get to a point where Secret are going to call VP on their bluff. And they're just going to go into the high ground and say, you can try and keep split pushing if you want, but Naga Siren, she pushes in the lanes very quickly, but she's not going to hit the tower faster than this lineup.
Yeah, this is looking rough. And you can see the 3 cores, look how confident they are. What do you do here? You can poke us, but look at Zai, just activated Bulwark. Force the whole enemy team back. Oh, 5 heroes of VP in base. All right, guys, let's go clear their woods. They've got vision on the bottom half. I wouldn't be surprised to see Secret stick around here and look to perhaps get aggressive. Oh, wait, that's a real one.
He actually baited out. They thought it was just illusions. He's trying to get a good sleep setup here for any kind of static storm, but it says it's just going to be the Medusa. Looks like the backline side walking in with this BKB arena. They're going to be able to get the Meteor Hammer onto the Medusa. Low on mana, actually out of mana now. Maybe they can focus him down. The arena saves so much damage, though, from that Viper. Nisha getting lower and lower, but so is Kuman. He's committed for the kill, and it looks like they will manage to get it with the Viper. Kuman as well as Resolution, though, have overextended themselves in trying to finish off that Medusa, and will both trade away their lives.
You can see the great initiation from VP, right? They catch him off guard, they make a play, but you all in for this Dusa, who just is standing still attacking you, trusting that his team will clean you up if you're inevitably able to finish him off. And that's exactly what occurs. Now with both cores dead, the rest of Secret could potentially look to continue pushing top. They almost have a Radiance up on their bristle.
Yeah.
Further demoralizing, or rather deteriorating the damage that Naga's going to be able to output with the illusions.
So another cool couple of mechanical things here. The Mars, really good against any sort of ranged carries, right? Because he's got both his Bulwark to be able to soak up projectiles, right, with that 70% chance, but then he's also got the Arena, and that is a large part of the reason why the Medusa lives so long. He pops the BKB, runs into the Song, and activates the Arena, keeping the Viper out of the Arena, so his shots going in are all blocked.
Yeah, it's a very good point, Cap. And I think that's just another reason we've seen how many times Zai just making the right decision in the clutch, right? If he just... 99 Dota players out of 100 are like, oh, I didn't get songed. Let me wait outside, and I'll go counter-initiate. Zai recognizes, look, I need to get this Arena down. My Dusa is going to die. I need to just go in, because they're not going to target me. I don't care if I waste my BKB just to cover distance, because I'm not the target.
Yeah.
You've got to kill my Dusa, or you're not going to win this fight.
I mean, the Medusa lost like so much of his mana so quickly, but he survived just that extra 5 seconds, I think in large part just because, you know, there was that last bit of damage they needed, which was all from that Viper.
Yeah, it's a good point, because you'd think he's just going to melt. He's standing in the break. He's just getting railed on by a whole bunch of illusions, but to your point, he's got the wherewithal to stand still, keep auto-attacking.
All right, well,
stays alive.
That Aghanim Scepter is coming in for Zayats bit by bit. Just needs another 1,600 gold, and we're in business territory.
I can't believe they killed Rezo like that, though. He has 33 armor before Tree's buff. Now we've got a Root Blink possible on your Treant. It's going to be interesting. You got to watch the BKB timings from Secret and the Manta. If Solo's on his game, he'll be able to get 2 or 3 of these cores post their item usage. If he doesn't, they're going to have issues, and his impact in the team fight is effectively completely null.
So I want to ask you, like we were talking about the Aghanims on Bristleback. Like I thought it would be really cool with the Medusa. Why do you think he goes for the Radiance instead?
Oh, no, on Bristle?
Yeah, for like the AoE viscous nasal goo.
I mean, I think you just probably prefer the AoE magic to the AoE 0 damage goo. It's just safer, right? Oh, that was close.
That was a little close, but they both managed to get out.
Also, you don't really have any effect from minus armor against these VP heroes at the moment. 2 agility cores and a Lesh with 33. It just seems rough.
It seems like Matumba Man also kind of wants to be a damage dealer in himself. Not just like, they're not going to be entirely reliant on the Medusa, who, you know, with a Naga Siren lineup, right? Like single core lineups do suffer against that because you just get a combination that completely locks you out of your items and you just get focused down.
Next Rosh is spawn. That's going to be our expected team fight location, and this is the
Bop
fear.
and blink.
Solo.
Bop and blink. Bop and blink. That's all Solo's got to do. Just annoy him. The couriers are going to fly out trying to get vision of Solo here, but they would have to drop too many sentries. They had the right idea, but they're too late to execute it.
Good try. Those Secrets stand on their toes. And the thing about it is the supports have the luxury to make that kind of play. Sure, you don't get the kill, but if you check out the rest of the map, it's not as if their lanes are suffering. Bottom's up at the tier 2. Matumba Man not even forced to back because he still has BKB teleport available. You know Solo was just top, so there's no other manner of canceling that BKB TP. Invis Rune bottled as well. Looks like AC will be his option. Secret, as always, going for these plus damage items. And check out the vision, as we can see on the right side of our screen. Radiant, absolutely 0 wards and no real manner of pushing out onto the map unless they try and smoke out or hold hands, which is going to be their decision as they smoke.
4-man smoke. Solo hits that bottom lane. Do they have a gem on Secret? We'll have to wait to see because Matumba Man does manage to break that smoke. They've caught Zion. It's perfect for YapzOr. He tosses him back into the rest of the team. Does manage to get off that Static Storm, but easily canceled by the BKB of Matumba Man. And, okay, TP away from no one is successful. The rest of Virtus.pro get back. Okay, not that big of a deal. You wanted that smoke to go successfully, but they only lost their 4.
Yep, and the thing is, we can pull up the items real quick before Secret go to Siege. Check it. in terms of these support items, right? You have a Vlad's, you'll soon have an AC on this Dire side to go along with the pipe, a Force, a Glimmer, etc. On the Radiant team, everyone's got to itemize for themselves. Sure, you've got a Greaves, but there's no Vlad's. Those plus damage items aren't out yet. They have no utility, no Force, no Glimmer, no nothing. So you don't have as many options in terms of committing, because if you overcommit just a hair, you're dead, and there's nothing a support can do to save you unless they've got ultimates available. Another toss back.
Another initiation on Resolution. He self-fuels himself to try and buy a little bit of time, but when he comes back down to Earth, he's dead. But look at all the damage Nisha's taken, and Resolution's still not dead. They had to commit a little bit more, but Nisha almost getting gone on and finished off here, but now it's going to be Matamaman who's in trouble. He committed his BKB earlier. Zai's going to try and come in and save him with the arena. Not good enough, but he does manage to get the spear onto the real Naga Siren. Focus down on Nisha. That's going to be a good trade-off for them. Now the toss back from Zayats as well. Once again, Yaps are finding initiation after initiation. Zayats low. Avalanche going to be able to catch him and Solo. Now diving into the tier 3s, we're going to have our first buyback. It's out from Resolution. A broken Mars having some troubles with no one. No one committing his BKB, but now it's slowed down by the Scotty of Nisha, poking and prodding at him, pursuing him into the high ground, but they don't want to overcommit. Secret know that they've just won a really good team fight. They don't have to break Virtus.pro right now. They've already hurt their economy significantly.
I really just love watching these guys play, man. Yapzor abusing that toss requires no target, level 20 talent, and just putting people out, taking his Medusa. It's just so easy for him to play around. And you can even see there, right? Rezo gets tossed in, and that lack of utility. He's facing his base, but there's no force staffs, and he's just dead in the water. And man, it's just a tough game.
What is the workaround here for VP? Because I kind of understand why they don't have that stuff, because who builds it? What would be your suggestion?
That's the problem, right? There isn't really someone that can. You need the Ags Rush on Disruptor. You need the Vessel first, too. Naga's got to mind his own game. Maybe the Leshrac can, but Rezo was behind. He can't afford to go back for the, he doesn't want to turn himself into a support. And the Greaves is
he did
all they've got.
Yeah, but he has to have Yules, and then Greaves, that is a utility item, so.
It's helpful here. And I also,
can't blame him for that.
I just love Nisha, man, because, we explained why he had Butterfly queued up at first, right? Explaining why that's good. The reasons still stand, but I think his decision to go for the Scotty and now the Mjolnir afterwards, pop that on yourself, just right-click, the illusions are going to melt, and look at all the damage VP can't turn off. The Disruptor ultimate, the Leshrac spells, you're going to be proccing Mjolnir every reset, and then you go for the Satanic Butterfly, and that's when you go win the game. So it's just a matter. He knows what items are good, but it's the order that I think he's very optimal on, and again, no one BKB teleporting home.
Wow. At least he doesn't get caught. They do have the Aghanim Scepter of the Disruptor, but it's do or die time for Virtus.pro. They're down 17,000 net worth against a Medusa lineup. And very few lineups are able to contest a Medusa that's this fond.
I just always feel like when Secret look to actually end a game, they've got just everything they need. Even the Orb of Destruction Sheev is on Zai. Like, the whole team, when you have these tanky cores and the luxury of buying all these items that further increase everyone's survivability, it's just such a rough game for VP because you're going to have to initiate. You're going to have to stop them from hitting your base. But how do you actually deal damage and finish kills? That's the concern.
Yeah, especially against all these auras. I like that you talked about that, because I feel like it's one of those things that Secret, OG, like basically the top 3 teams of the world at any given time, they always have a bunch of utility items and a bunch of aura items to go finish the game.
It's something I love about watching Puppey play. It's effectively just Force, Glimmer, or Medallion every single game.
Yeah.
And then I remember a couple patches previous, there was, before Halberd got nerfed a bit, where he would pick that up routinely on his 5 positions, even when they were ranged heroes, and they'd abuse it. There were games they'd have 3, and they're playing against the Dusa, who didn't buy a BKB, and they just win that one fight because he's standing still doing nothing for the entire engagement.
I got another example for you. What about the old value buckler that Puppey used to go?
Yeah.
I mean, that was him who innovated that kind of build, right? So
it's all about the math, right? I miss Nahaz. We need him to do our math. I've had to copy homework from Lacoste, and it's just really, I'm failing the class miserably now.
It's a mess over there. I've just seen his handwriting. He does have a very cool notebook, though. I will give him that. Big fan of Marvel comics. He is.
I thought he was, it's funny, I thought he was taking notes in Croatian.
Yeah.
But it was actually just terribly written English, which I can't blame him for, because my handwriting's even worse, but still.
Okay, they have to throw out the Static Storm, prevent him from getting out the BKB and the cheese here. If they can commit, finish him off just in time before the Static Storm fades. But no, he gets on the BKB as well as the cheese. And now for the turnaround, Virtus.pro, Map1 still low, but he's able to walk this off. And now Zai's here to be able to lock them all down, sparing resolution in the arena out. No one tries to get out of the arena, but he can't quite make it because the Stone Gaze slowed him down. Stoned up now, the song will eventually fade as Naga Siren TP's home. 3 dead with no buyback.
Remember we were talking about trying to kill one of the secret heroes?
Yep.
And if you don't, bad stuff was going to go down. They blew absolutely everything. Map1 is going to be full HP. Like, this is not
I don't even
good
think they messed up the combination, right?
No?
I think they used all the abilities they were supposed to. They just ran out of steam. And now they're going to run out of Naga Sirens. This Kuman's been tossed in, speared up to the tier 3. No Manta, no illusions, no hope, it seems, for Virtus.pro with Secret. Go marching straight for the tier 4s, ignoring Raxes at this point. They know they can just end it, and no one, he knows that too. He's going to call GG here for the game 1.
And this is just why, traditionally, it's so tough to take this team down. You know, you look at throughout Dota history, the OGs, the Enigmas, the Secrets. The problem you run into is that you can't afford to make the critical errors. You have this game